Hello, everyone. Welcome to the strategy for the SAT, ACT. What we're going to call this strategy is a distractor. All right. So what a distractor is, and this is what they typically put in our testing to see if we understand what we are testing or if we're able to actually identify specific questions based on what is given. Second. So what we're going to do, we're going to solve the problem, kind of go through it, and then kind of use the distractor analysis to determine what the distractor was. So right now, what we have to determine if these variables M, Q, and Z are positive, we'll see which ones are equivalent as far as our answers. What we do know is that when we're multiplying, we're going to add the exponents, which I call it MAD. We also see a negative exponent, which means that we may have to move our negative exponent to the bottom to make it positive. And we may not, we just have to see how everything works out. We do understand that when we're multiplying with the exponents, we add them. And when we have a negative exponent, we move that exponent to the bottom to make it positive. All right, so let's see what we have. All right, so when multiplying, I'm going to multiply my M to the fourth and my M. That M has an understood 1. So that is now going to become M to the fifth. So I have M to the fifth. Same thing with my Q. I have Q to the fourth and Q to the fifth. Again, I'm multiplying, so I'm going to add my exponents. That becomes Q to the ninth. The Z to the -1 and Z to the 3. So really, because they have the same variable of Z, I can just do 3 minus 1 and get Z squared. But the negative exponent that I mentioned earlier, I will have Z to the -1 times Z to the 3. And typically speaking with this is that negative exponent is really like a fraction in a sense. But I'm going to kick this negative exponent to the bottom to make it positive. So what I'm left with is Z cubed over Z to the first. So again, we do have division, and we understand with dividing in respect to exponents, we are going to subtract. Z cubed over Z to the first gets us Z squared, which is the same thing we have. So out of the answer choices, our best answer is going to be B. But now you say, okay, so where exactly is the distractor? The distractor is the question that, or the answer that most people would choose if they had a good educated guess, or in this case, if they were to just multiply. So by them multiplying, they would say M to the fourth times M to the first is going to be M to the fourth. It looks like it's starting to lead here. They will also say that Q to the fourth times Q to the fifth will become Q to the 20th. And then Z to the -1 times Z to the third will become Z to the -3. So what you just identified is the distractor for this particular problem. All right, it may look right, but it's not necessarily right because you did the steps incorrectly. But just, again, they use this as a way to distract you from the actual answer. So again, this is called a distractor. This is one of the testing strategies that you can use for SAT or ACT.